Support WrestleTalk!
Order a t-shirt.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk MechaNews! I am Luke Owen, and why yes, I am sporting the new Ooh Wendy t-shirt available now from WrestleTalkShop.com. Thank you for noticing. It is rather fetching and available in all sorts of sizes, from the very biggest to the very smallest. And speaking of the biggest to the smallest segue, and this week saw Big Show threaten AOP manager and 205 Live general manager, though I'm not sure they're the same character, Drake Maverick so much that he pissed his pants. Hilarity ensued. This, of course, was followed up on Monday Night Raw, about the only storyline from Survivor Series that actually was followed up on. But Big Show didn't mention it on SmackDown, and that could be because, it turns out, Show had no idea who Maverick was before Survivor Series. In an interview with Busted Open Radio, Show revealed that Maverick was tweeting him to promote the Survivor Series match between The Bar and AOP, and was using fighting words. The guy that's the manager of that tag team, what is it, AOP? Drake, whatever his name is, he keeps popping up in my social media feed talking trash. And I'm like, what's this dude's issue? He needs to take my name out of his mouth. You know what I mean? I've dated women that are bigger than him. He needs to shut up. Spot on impersonation right there. Show was so annoyed by these tweets, he actually called the WWE office to ask if this was someone backstage that he needed to have serious words with. And they had to tell him he was a character on TV and this was all just part of their Survivor Series feud. Show adds, well, I didn't know he was on the show. For the longest time, I thought he was one of the writers backstage. We've got some talent that looks like they ought to be writers, and some writers that are in better shape than the talent. I'm all confused. I don't know what to do. So I guess we can add Big Show's name alongside Jerry Lawler in the is on TV but doesn't actually watch the product category. Perhaps Show will know the name Lars Sullivan, who we're being told by WWE is coming soon. So what brand is anyone's guess, as this was played on both Raw and SmackDown this week, and he's scheduled for a match with Keith Lee next week on NXT. He is being called up, however, and Dave Meltzer has reported in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter there is no specific destination or major program formulated, but the plan is for him to get a super push. He is the Vince McMahon kind of guy. So what you're telling me is that Vince McMahon has an affinity for large, perspiring blokes. I mean, I feel like there's a joke in all of this somewhere, but forget about it. It's probably not that funny anyway. But Lars might not be the only NXT call-up on the horizon. Despite only being part of NXT for a cup of rather pricey coffee, it's being reported that EC3 is on the cards for a main roster call-up. Not only that, but he was supposed to be called up after SummerSlam before plans changed. Mike Johnson of PW Insider noted on one of their latest Elite Audio podcasts that the plan was to call up EC3 after NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, where he lost to Velveteen Dream. According to Johnson, EC3 was never set for a long stint in the developmental brand to begin with, but sadly a concussion he suffered during that Dream match scuppered his post-SummerSlam call-up plans. Johnson reports that WWE are now waiting for the right time and storyline to bring him up, adding that the entire makeup of NXT is going to change in the upcoming year.
Not many people believe that Glenn Gilberti came up with the Ultimate X idea, the whole concept.
Oh, he likes to think so. Of course, we all know it was from the genius of Don Callis many years ago. And Glenn Gilberti tried to take credit.
What a scumbag.
This I want to see. This I want to see.
Follow-up's over!
God, break that parrot-beak nose of Gilberti. Look at this fool.
Kikitaro.
Wow, that's not strong style.
Dez now! Everyone's rolling over Glenn Gilberti! Alicia Edwards kicks in on the mix!
Yeah, that's the closest that he'll get to a woman anytime soon. She better go get her shots after rolling on Gilberti.
This could be a big night for the ref. Kid Rock!
He looks almost excited as he was when Scarlett looked at him.
What the hell was that? Well, that was the second annual Eli Drake Gravy Train Turkey Trot match from last night's Thanksgiving special of Impact Wrestling, which the whole show was built around. Although I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be the episode where Raven returned to Impact Wrestling. So essentially, I was like this for the whole show.
When are they gonna get to the
Raven
factory?
For the last few weeks here on the MechaNews, we've been talking about Impact Wrestling's deal with Pop TV and when that could come to an end. Dave Meltzer reported in last week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that Impact will likely stay on Pop until the first quarter of 2019, even though the channel has bumped them into the later 10 p.m. slot. And PW Insider have now added that Impact have been in talks to move their weekly TV show to WGN America, who hosted the All In pre-show, True TV, the home of Impractical Jokers, or Sci-Fi, who used to host SmackDown and WWE's ECW Revival. But perhaps we won't see former Impact World Champion Austin Aries on that show when it does move next year. Aries' contract expired after Bound for Glory last month, which saw him drop the World Championship to Johnny Impact and then flip off Don Callis and the crowd as he walked to the back, no selling the finish. Several outlets had reported that if Aries wasn't at the recent Las Vegas Impact tapings, as that's where he lives, then it would be likely he is officially done with the company and the ending of Bound for Glory was not an angle. However, Dave Meltzer has reported in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that Aries was backstage for one of the Las Vegas Impact tapings. However, right now there are no plans for him, although that could change tomorrow. Which brings us nicely to... And this week's wrestler you know in a film you probably don't know is current Impact World Champion Johnny Impact / Morrison / Mundo, featuring in the straight-to-DVD release 20 Foot Below, The Darkness Descending, which also stars the legendary Danny Trejo. The film is directed by Mark Klebanoff and is about a documentary filmmaker who enters into an abandoned New York subway tunnel and stumbles upon a whole world of darkness, including ex-cop Jake, Danny Trejo's angel, and a couple of gang members, one of which is Johnny Impact, or former WWE Champion John Morrison, as he's credited in the film's trailer. Former WWE Champion, eh? 20 Foot Below was released on DVD in 2014, and Ain't It Cool News called it dull in parts, while HorrorNews.net said it was essentially one cliche after another, strung together until they approximate something you might run into on the Lifetime channel. We are currently nearing the 3-year anniversary of AJ Styles finding his way to WWE, debuting at the 2016 Royal Rumble. Fightful are reporting that Styles is one of several WWE stars whose deals are set to expire in January 2019, which one would assume would also include Shinsuke Nakamura, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, as they all left New Japan Pro Wrestling at the same time. According to Fightful, Styles is looking to negotiate a new deal that would look like the one Randy Orton currently has, where he would work TV tapings, but not as many live dates, with one source saying that AJ Styles requested he drop the WWE Championship to Daniel Bryan, as holding it means he has to be on the road away from his family. Fightful add that Styles is in a good position, as WWE stock is up on where it was at the start of the year, thanks in part to the Saudi Arabia deals and the new television contract from Fox, and many stars backstage are looking to get a pay increase while negotiating their new deals. According to the report, Styles knows he has other non-WWE options, and he can use these as leverage while negotiating, something that could become even more interesting given the news this week about All Elite Wrestling and those two WWE stars who have reportedly already agreed to join the promotion next year. Someone who could also be negotiating a new WWE deal is the current Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. The Beast surprisingly picked up Raw's main championship back at Crown Jewel, when many expected he would be out the door so he could train for his UFC fight that is rumored to happen in the first quarter of 2019, though Dana White has recently said he's not sure if that match will take place. However, other outlets are reporting that Lesnar is currently scheduled to work Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, but not TLC, Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, or anything post-WrestleMania. When Lesnar won the belt, a few stories went around saying that Brock could hold on to the Universal Championship until the biggest show of the year, where he would then lose it to Braun Strowman. However, it was announced on Raw this week that if Braun beats Baron Corbin at TLC, he would get to face Brock for the championship at Royal Rumble, which is rumored to be the direction so long as Braun is cleared to compete following his bone spur surgery. So if Brock is facing Strowman at the Rumble, where does that leave him going into WrestleMania? Well, according to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Lesnar is right now scheduled to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Meltzer notes he hasn't been told if Strowman is winning the championship at the Rumble, so this could either be a title match or just a singles match. But he does write Lesnar versus Rollins is scheduled to play off Roman Reigns in some fashion. So Reigns' names and illness are scheduled to continue to be used in storylines going forward. And making predictions on WrestleMania will soon actually mean something here at WrestleTalk, as we introduce WrestleTalk's new prediction system, Wrestle League. We're going to be tallying up all the correct predictions for major wrestling events up to and including the Royal Rumble, which includes TLC, Wrestle Kingdom, Impact Homecoming, and more. And the person with the least correct predictions will have to record a wrestler's entrance theme cover of the SWAT nation's choosing. Previous covers have included #Potato Thrower and Stephanie McMahon. So which track could be next? And following NXT TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series, I can reveal that I am currently bottom of the table with 7, behind Laurie Blake's 8 and Ollie Davis's 9. But in the larger scheme of things, we're not very good, as the full table of WrestleTalk.com writers has Andy Datson at the top with 12. Andy, you might remember, is the guy who filled in for myself and Laurie on the Evolution Wrestle Ramble review, and is also the guy who's in charge of putting everyone's scores together. I'm sure there's totally nothing untoward there at all. Have you bought the latest WrestleTalk merchandise? Click the icon on screen to be taken there right now, and check out Laurie and myself talk about this week's NXT in the Wrestle Ramble. I've been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.